Hello, my ducks. It's Simon here. Welcome to the Hermit's Cave. How is everybody doing? It's lovely to see so many people already in the chat. So we'll just say some hellos before we get started. So first one in was Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl from Oneness Emporium. She can't actually make the live tonight. She's got a social. And so if you watch this back, Cheryl, I hope you had a lovely evening. And then we've got Caroline, nice to see you. And the lovely Kim, Cecilia. We've got David and Patrice. Hi, Patrice. Marilyn. We've got Golden and Patsy. We have Mia and Lily Rose. We've got Kat and Kate, Tycon and Sarah. We have Giselle. Hello. Watching on the TV. Oh no. Whenever somebody says they're watching on the TV, I kind of shrink at the thought. Joanne's here. Hello, Joanne. Gloria. We have Trio of Witches. We have Fantasia and Deanne. Hello, Deanne. We have Elspeth and Emma, Tammy Pie, Forever Wear After, and Lynn's here. Hi, Lynn. We have Malamia and Emma, Petra, Susan. Hello, Susan. Not seen you for a while. I hope you're okay. Saskia, Jackie, Chris, Robin. We've got Loose Karma, Barbara, Debbie, Marilyn, and Ramon. Hi, Ramon. We have who else? We've got Raven Song. Nice to see you. Lexi. So many people. It's lovely. Kathy, Tori. We have Bonnet de Blaze. I hope I've said that right. I probably haven't. Woods Forager. We have Thace, Suzanne, and Anne's here. Hi, Anne. Richie. Hi, Richie. Kathy, and Susanna. And I think I've caught up. So it's lovely to see so many people, almost 100 people here already. So this CC&C, as I said in the description, is a little bit different because it's the 7-year Channelversary. I think it's tomorrow actually, but I've tied it in with obviously going live for CC&C. And yeah, I was just talking to some friends who you're going to meet shortly backstage, and we were just talking about that 7-year period. And I was saying that in one sense, it feels like yesterday when that first day recording a video. I still remember it. It was a Saturday. I was about to go and meet my friend in Derby, my friend Jen, for her birthday celebrations, and I decided to do a tag to Arwen Lynch's tag. And the number of times I pressed the record button and started and with just one word and then paused it again and like, I can't do it. So going from that and the safety of doing a tag to now doing like lives on a regular basis. But that journey just feels like those 7 years have just gone by. And then in some senses, when we think about other things like quarantine streams during the lockdown, that feels like forever ago. So what is that line from Doctor Who? Wibbly wobbly, timey, wimey, weird time where some things feel like forever ago and others just like yesterday. But anyway, I decided that to lucky 7, yeah, I hope so. I decided that if I'm going to have a bit of a celebration, I wanted some friends to join me who have been friends through those 7 years that I have seen fairly regularly, met up with, and so I'm going to bring my friends on board, and we're just going to chat with you guys, and we'll talk about things that have happened over the 7 years, some memories, and then at the end there's going to be a bit of a giveaway competition as well, where I'll ask for you as subscribers to the channel to share your fond memories from the last 7 years. And it doesn't matter if you've not been around for those full 7 years. There's people in the chat, like, Caroline's just sprung to mind, who's been there for the whole 7 years, Kim, lots of others. And then some who have just found the channel like in the last couple of days. Though there's just been over the last few days as well, kind of like a little influx of subscribers, which was lovely. It doesn't matter how long you've been here, you can all take part. Okay, so for those of you who have been around for a while, just for fun, can you recall who the first person was that I met in real life from TarotTube? Because I think some people might get that mixed up with some others, but who was the first person that I ever met in real life? Any guesses? Wow, straight in. So we've got Richie Kelly Bear, Deanne Kelly Bear, Robin Kelly Bear, Madwich Kelly Bear, Tammy Pie, Miss Bear, Debbie, Miss Bear. Lots of people are saying Kelly Bear. So let's welcome my good friend Kelly Bear, our swear bear.
I need help if I unmuted myself. Bloody hell, I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting to be the first on. That was a sneaky one.
Yeah. Well, I thought I'd go in the timeline of the last 7 years. So it was, I think my channel wasn't even 1 year old. We met in the February, didn't we?
About the 5th or 6th of February 2018.
Wow. Yeah, and
so
it was a very weird experience for both of us, I think, because I used to go to London on a regular basis, and Kelly had contacted me saying, if you want a in real life friend meet up from the world of tarot, if you're in London, let me know. And I was like, well, actually, I'm in London in a couple of weeks. And I was in Watkins, and I'd got there really early because this conference I went to was so boring, I binned it off. And I was like, I'm going to meet Kelly instead. And I remember when you walked in, it was that sort of weird moment of like, oh, wow, this a tangible 3D human being that I've been used to seeing on the screen for the last couple of years. Because, of course, I watched you like a year before I even started a channel. So,
yeah, my channel was a couple of years old already. Yeah, I remember walking up to Watkins. I can't remember if I texted you or not, saying I'd gotten out of the tube, because we'd exchanged phone numbers, I believe. And I saw you were up on that little platform bit where all the tarot decks are, the little, where obviously where the decks are, on that raised bit where you go up the wee steps. And I had a weird moment because it was, I'd been used to seeing you through a computer screen, and you were there, and then you sort of turned around and I was like, oh, hey. And it was like, my brain was so confused.
It's
well, I was seeing.
Yeah, and it doesn't, when I've met other people now off TarotTube, it's not the same experience. It's always a little bit weird, like, oh, hello. But the first time it happened, and also the community really reacted to that, didn't they? Because I can't recall of anybody else who I'd met up in real life from, 2 content creators that spring to mind. And everybody was like, oh, that's really weird. And we did a live from your kitchen where it started off with me sat there in your kitchen, and people like, that was a real head fuck.
Yeah.
Simon sitting in Kelly Bear's kitchen.
And I came in and went, what do you think you're doing? Hijacking my channel? Like, we played it as like a bit.
Yeah, very hammy. So that's and a lovely friend ever since. So thank you for agreeing to come on and helped me celebrate Channelversary.
Thank you for inviting me.
So shall we bring another friend on?
Sure.
So does anybody want to guess who I met next? And it was probably 7 months later. 9 months later. Now people are saying Sandra. It wasn't Sandra. Sandra was like 2 months after this person, Becca. Yeah, it was our Becca. Hey up, me duck.
Hey up.
How are you?
I'm doing all right, thank you. Yeah, can you believe it? 2018.
Yeah, you came here first. We first met here, didn't we?
That's right. Yeah.
October, it was my birthday weekend.
Yeah, I do. Oh, yeah, that's right. And you'd been having a bit of a shit time. And I think did you suggest, or was it just like a mutual thing? I said, should I come to Nottingham?
You sent me a message and you said you'd got some friends who lived not far from here, and you was planning on coming up, and then that fell through.
Yeah.
Because they were moving and it didn't work out right. And then you was like, can I still come? And I was like, of course you can still come.
Yeah, I'd got my train tickets booked and everything, so I thought, well, may as well. Yeah. And
I can remember. Yeah, go on.
No, you go on.
I was going to say what struck me is I'd gone through to the platform to meet you, and you was already up in the station. So I came back, and it was like I was coming off the train, and you was waiting for me, and I saw you through the arches. And then we just chatted, and we had a coffee, and we walked through town, and you just turned to me and you said, "You're exactly the same as you are online." Like, you wasn't, and I was like, "Yeah, so are you."
Yeah, it was a weird thing, but in a way, it didn't feel like we'd not met before. Just like it kind of transferred straight from YouTube to sort of chatting online to just walking off the train station and chatting. Didn't seem like there was a distinction, if you know what I mean. Strange feeling though.
It is. Kate says, Simon, I first saw your channel in 2018, but I didn't join the lives till later. Yeah, and I started doing lives in August of 2017. So, and then I started doing the catching up series. Kelly was the first guest on that, and that was the week after we'd met in London for the first time. So for those of you who said Sandra, yeah, Sandra was the person I met next. So hi, Sandra.
Hello. Yes.
Do you remember?
I do remember. I remember standing outside Watkins waiting for you, and I can remember you coming round the corner at the bottom of that little road, Cecil Court or whatever it's called, and walking up towards me with your suitcase because you'd been at Kelly's. And I remember looking and thinking, oh my God, this is really strange, somebody of YouTube. And I also remember thinking, bloody hell, he's so tall.
Whereas you three,
yeah,
not so much. I think you're all probably around the same height, aren't you? Within a couple of inches, anyway.
4'11", 4'11" in this corner.
I think Sandra and Kelly are 5'2". Oh, 5'2" and 5'3".
Yeah.
Yeah. So compared to me, yeah, all three of you was like, hello.
Yeah. But I can still remember us walking around in Watkins. I can still remember like the bottom piece and you walking up the steps and us looking at decks and all of that. And then going for lunch and having pizza. And do you remember there was so much of it? And I was like, I can't eat all this. Do you want some?
Yeah. That was also when somebody just came in to Watkins who was walking past and
random.
And just came in and gave me a hug and said, I watch you on YouTube. And I was like, this is the first time anybody's ever just walked past a shop, looked in, and then came in. So that was a surreal moment.
Oh, actually, we had I think it might have been, it was either before we went into Watkins or might have been after. We had a coffee, didn't we, in Cafe Nero, because it was up the steps at the top.
Yeah.
And you had a deck of cards with you, and it was Arnatorian's Oracle of Echoes, and you pulled a card.
Wow. You brought the Badger's Forest?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can remember that. Yeah, and when I met Kelly brought Magical Forest, and I can't remember what deck I had, but we were laying cards out in Costa. Everybody was like, as they do. So, the next year, the three of us met up in 2019 for the first ever tarot meetup, the UK tarot meetup here in Nottingham. And that is where we got to meet my next guest, which I'm not going to say a friend because this person is family, and it's my lovely Dee Dee. Hey up, Hal.
That was so nice.
Yeah, well, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember the point where you started calling me Dar and I started calling you Dee Dee, but it just kind of happened naturally. And we, from that very first meeting back in 2019, I never thought it was going to happen. I didn't think you would have the courage to come, and you did, and you stayed in a hotel, but instantly there was that sort of that bond, and it's remained ever since.
Yeah, no one would ever know I was there from any of the pictures or videos.
That's because we had strict instructions. But then, as the days went on, you became more open to having photographs taken. I think by day 3 on the Sunday, you was like, "Oh, okay then."
Yeah, all right then.
I can't keep fighting this off.
Yeah, I went from behind a pole. I feel like I did a live or something at some point too, but yeah.
Did
Yeah,
you? Oh wow!
You were behind my couch
Oh yeah, when I was drunk on the wine.
with a box of wine.
Oh, that was lovely.
Yeah, and Elle is joining us from New York, which is really exciting. So the journey you've been on from back then when we met in 2019 to having a completely different life now over in New York, it's just inspirational, and I was thrilled that you was able to come and join us.
Me too. I miss this.
Come back. Not to the UK, I don't mean. I mean, just come back to you. Okay, so my last guest is actually somebody that I've not met in real life. However, had to have this friend on because we've collaborated together now for, well, we do a monthly collaboration, but even before that, this person was my tag team partner during the Quarren Stream lives back in 2020. And of course, it's our Chris.
Hi.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Are you?
I'm good. Elle just mentioned drunk on wine, and that's what I'm drinking wine.
Oh yeah, I debated
Yeah.
it, but I'm trying to stick to Slimming World plan at the minute, and I was like, oh, if I have wine tonight, and then yeah, better not. So I've just got the tea, but yeah, I don't even know how long we've been friends for now, Chris. I'm gonna say 4 years, but would that be about right?
Yeah, that's probably pretty accurate, to be honest, because it would have been around about as lockdown started. Just as I go live, that's when the dogs start barking. Does anyone else find this happens? It's like always right as you do something. So I'm like trying to text Sandy at the same time and say, "Can you control the dogs?" But yeah, about 3 years. Sorry, 4 years.
Wow. And again, just what is time? It's bananas, isn't it?
I was thinking as you were kind of going through everyone and saying, "Oh, this was when I met this person, and this was when I met that person." I was like, right, Okay, right. We're going to have to, like, before your 8th Channelversary, Simon, we'll need to do something. We'll need to make a point in meeting up in real life.
Yeah. And when you was, because Chris went and met with Elaine, who
Yeah.
I went and stayed with when I did the travelling around in 2018. Chris met up with her a few weekends ago, and I remember thinking then, oh, wouldn't it have been cool if I knew Chris when I actually went up right by where you live? It's
Yeah.
like, you know, I'm not saying it'll never happen, but it could. But that was like, I don't know if I'd ever do that again, because I just hired a car at Nottingham, got in it, and drove to Edinburgh, and it was like, and I've not driven for 12 years. And it was how I got there and back in one piece, I'll never know. But yeah, it would, so when I went to stay with Elaine, I was like, oh, now Chris and Elaine's met up. I wish I'd known you back then, because then we would have met. But yeah, and
that would have
one
been
day
nice.
we'll get you to Glastonbury. That's got to happen.
That's true. That's true. It will happen at some point.
Okay, so that completes, and it's a nice symmetrical layout on screen. It's looking nice and tidy. That really helps me with my OCD of everything all neat and orderly. So what we thought we would do is just talk about some of the things that have happened over the last 7 years, share some stories, and if you guys want to jump in and share your stories as well, that would be lovely. What I would say is, I mentioned the competition at the beginning. It will be impossible for me to draw people from the scrolling chat. So if you want to join the competition, then put your story into the comments after the video goes up. And next Saturday, I will announce the winner. We'll draw the winner. The deck that I'm giving away is I think a really important deck and a valuable contribution to the tarot world, and it's the Fifth Spirit Tarot. It's sealed, never opened. Bought it purposely for today's giveaway, and also it's going to come in this lovely silk pouch, which has the 3 hairs making the triquetra. How do you say it, Sandra? You know how to say it. Triquetra.
Triquetra.
Triquetra. I always get my tongue stuck around that word. And it's beautifully lined. And I bought this from Pendle Hill. Never been used. So and I just think the colour scheme goes so well with it. So that will be the giveaway. If you want to take part, just pop something in the comments after the live, just, you know, a favourite from your the last 7 years, even if it's recent. Fifth Spirit is one of my favourite decks now. Sandra kindly gifted it to me. Oh, there you are. And yeah, it's a fantastic deck. I love it. And when I saw it, because I went on a little mission this morning to get something that I want to give away, when I saw it, I thought, yes, I'm so glad they had it in Waterstones, because I've got the indie version, and yeah, it's a fantastic deck. So anybody want to start us off with a memory or something that sticks in your mind? We don't have to go in order, because I don't like that when I'm on lives and it's like sudden death. So just jump in whenever you if you want to. And I've also written down some favourites of mine as well that I'm really pleased to have either done or stick in my mind as some favourites.
Okay, I'm good. I was going to say I'll jump in because everyone's got quite a little. I know we've done quite a few lives together over the years, both on your channel and on my channel. And like you said, that fun thing that we did where you were presenting in my kitchen. But I think the first live we did together when I came up to you in 2018, in the summer of 2018.
With the duck mask.
Yeah, because that was it. This is what sticks in my mind. Simon had this, because he always says they up me duck. He had this rubber duck mask, and I was like, I know what I'll do is I'll put it on, and
Fully covered the head, didn't it?
Yeah, so people will have to guess. And I think I came in behind you quacking. I don't know. It was a weird. We had been day drinking, FYI, which I don't usually do. I don't really drink at all, let alone day drink. And yeah, that live was pretty chaotic. I think we were doing a walkthrough of the Oracle of Black Enchantment and going through. I'd printed off the guidebook.
Yeah.
And brought it along, the PDF of the guidebook, and we were going through all the cards. But I was just so unserious, and I think there was one point where I was behind you with the bottle of wine, trying to get the last bits out. That because I'd just gone full send at that point on the day drinking. But yeah, I just remember the chaos that was that live, and it was just a lot of fun.
It was, and it was really funny because you downloaded onto your phone some ducks quacking.
Oh, that was it. I'd forgotten about it. That was it. Yeah.
And I just went live I used to go live at 4 p.m. UK time back then for proper catch up.
Yeah.
And you were sat like I was sat like I am here, and you were sat over there, and you were chatting away like in the chat, so nobody knew. And then all of a sudden, this duck quacking started, and I was like, "What?" And I could see this chat was people putting WTF and all this like, and I'm like, "What's that? How come I can hear a duck quack?" And then you crawled around the desk, and all of a sudden, your head came up at the side of me with this fully latex duck mask, making these quacking noises. And nobody knew who it was, and you just then pulled the mask off. Yeah.
Good times. That was a fun time. And someone's already mentioned the live chat that we did with the meetup with the toilet roll holder thing. Oh my god, I think my sides hurt so much. Me and Becca just absolutely losing it.
And I was going to bring. That was going to be one of my favourite moments.
And mine, actually.
The three of us did that live. Oh my God. How did I end up wearing Simon's boxer shorts?
They slid out his head.
Yeah, it came out.
The pyjama bottoms.
I think we'd all had a little bit to drink, but I just don't know how I ended up wearing them. And then, but I put them on, and then Kelly said something about, ew, they just came out of Simon's pajama bottoms. And I was like, she said it's probably from the laundry bin. I was like, and he said, no, they're clean.
So what it was, they were with, you know, this whole thing about toilet rolls hanging over or under. And then I said, well, actually, it doesn't really make a difference for me because I've got a toilet loo roll tower. And they were like, what? So I went and fetched it to show it. And I'd taken my pajama bottoms out of the laundry, as in all freshly laundered, and put them on, not knowing that there was a pair of boxer shorts that got caught up in there. So as I come walking through, these boxer shorts slid down my leg. And as I walked into the front room, I just kicked my leg, and these boxer shorts came flying out. Well, then, of course, nobody could see that because it was off camera, and all you got was Becca and Kelly just crying with laughter, and everybody's like, "Whoa, what are they laughing at?"
Well, I thought you'd develop some kind of trick, you know, like us. We can take our bras off without taking our tops off, and just pull it out of our sleeve. When I saw it, I thought, "Bloody hell! How did you do that?" Yeah, just flipped out from the bottom. pajama. But I do
What?
also remember from that we did. I can't really remember what we did, to be honest. But didn't we have a Ouija board, or was that after?
That was after.
Oh, that was the after party.
After that live, yeah. I filmed it as
Right.
part of the vlog from the Tarot Meetup weekend. I actually lost subscribers because of that. I had people leaving me messages saying, "Oh no, you've gone too far now. Unsubscribed."
How dare you have fun, you
Yes.
scoundrels!
But was
This is
that
too
live?
ribald for me. Sorry.
Was that live, the one where it started, like with you, with Becca, Kelly, and you, where it started and you'd got a cushion over a certain place because there was a split in an unfortunate area of your PJs?
All right, Sandra. Yeah, literally, with like 5 seconds to go before the live started, I looked down, I was like, oh, I grabbed this cushion and put it there. Yeah, that's right. I remember that. Face has put the time Becca rearranged Simon's tarot shelf when he left her to cook dinner.
Oh, that must have been another time. You went to get fish and chips, didn't you?
I think it was the first time he come though.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Well, you went out. You went out and you left me home alone.
Fish and chips. Yeah.
Yeah, you left me home alone.
Yeah. And you went live because you was like, look, I'm at the Hermit's cave and Simon's not here. Then somebody said, why don't you move some of his decks around? And I back then, I didn't have half as many decks as I've got now. And I just couldn't. There was one that you moved that was like glaringly obvious. So that drew my attention. Then I could see the others that you'd moved.
That was what was so funny. You walked in and you immediately, we thought it was like, wait, how long? Like, well, let's see how long it takes.
Yeah.
Straight away, no flies on you.
Yeah.
But that's because Becca looks so guilty. I walked in, I'm like, what? She's like, nothing. And I'm like, what's happened? Yeah, it was funny. And that was also the night you went live from my closet.
Oh, I did, yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, because you were in the in the living room and it popped up, didn't you? Becca Cara Knight, I was live, and you thought.
And I thought, how can she be live? She's gone to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there she was. I'm in Simon's closet. Yeah. So that was funny. Like some kind of trick. I think that was Jen. I missed whatever that was. What was Jen? I don't know. If I miss any comments and you want me to see them, do put them in caps so that I try not to miss them. I'm just thinking most of the moderators in here are actually on the live as well, so it's might be harder to, because there's Elle, Kelly, Chris. Yeah, so I'll try not to miss any. Oh, there's Jen. Hello. Hey all, sneaking in for a second while in the doctor's office waiting room. Love hearing the memories. Oh. Yeah, so Jen was going to join Elle on the live, but the time difference with we still haven't put our clocks forward until, is it next weekend? I think it's next weekend, isn't it?
Next weekend, yeah.
Yeah, so Jen was hoping to come on and thinking that it was 2 p.m, but it's not, it's 3 p.m. when the time was, so it didn't work out, so she wasn't able to join us in the end. Yeah, hey friends.
Hi Jen.
Marna says, what fun, you guys have me laughing and I don't even know what you're talking about. That's pretty much like how it is sometimes. And Call's here. Hello, Calla. Nice to see you.
Hey, Satan.
Yeah. Calla calls me Satan, and that goes back to when I went through. Well, it's not like I've gone through it, and I don't make videos about them now when I get them because I've got too many. He says with decks, but when I started buying fountain pens and really enjoying writing with fountain pens, Calla called me Satan because she thought I was tempting her with pens. What was that? Totally messed me up. At first, I still did the conversion to Seattle time, and I still messed up trying to convert to East Coast. And people were asking in the week, like, what time is this? It gets confusing, doesn't it, when there's a few weeks different? Although it always feels like you're closer, Elle. You know, when the time isn't as far, it's like you're closer somehow, almost physically.
Yeah.
When the time difference is shorter. It's really weird, isn't it? It's like you're not that far away. To think that it used to be 8 hours away.
Oh, I know.
What was this one? Simon,
Oh my God.
About moderating with Elle and the foot trolls came in. Yeah, I was telling people at work about that the other day.
Was you?
Well, I was gonna mention that, but then I thought, well, no, because that was on my channel. But then technically, you were representing the Hermit's Cave. So, do you want to tell that story, Elle?
That I was absolutely bombarded with people telling me they're rock hard like tourmaline. A dog paw. I don't know.
It was your paws.
But someone put that live in a certain websites.
They did. Somebody would have had to have gone on to this site called Chatterbait. They would have had to create an account and then add my channel as a live stream to that account. And people pay money to view. So I think somebody had put on there that we were something to do with feet. Foot fetish. Foot fetish, they put. So of course, when people suddenly, my live had like, 30, 40 people. And then next we looked, was like 200 and something in there.
And then it went 400 within seconds.
Yeah.
And one of the comments said, "Oh, brother and sister."
I know that's going to get excited for all sorts of people.
Yeah, and they said, "Well, this is all very nice, but when are you going to take your clothes off?" We're like, "You what?"
Oh,
and then poor Mabel jumps up. So I'm show us your paws. I was like, oh my God. I said, I think we need to end this live. Becca's like, no, we'll be all right. And Elle's there, the only moderator in the room, and they're going, somebody help me. I'm really struggling. Yeah, that was one to remember.
yeah.
Certainly.
I thought of that.
It's still up, isn't it? It's on your channel, Becca. It's not been taken down.
You can go and watch it in all its delightful glory, I suppose. But it's worth a look just to see the amount of people in there and the funny things that they were saying.
Patrice says that when Becca accidentally went live and cursed Simon when he was calling her to let her know she was live, you were like, "Oh, fuck off."
I thought it was telemarketing. I thought it was telemarketing, so that's why I didn't answer. And he kept ringing and ringing. I'm like, "Oh, fuck off."
Oh God.
Well, I tried your mobile first, and I think it was off because that would have showed you who was calling. So I was like, I do have a home phone number, so I'll ring that. But then you could hear me ringing while you were live and walking around. Talking of going live when you shouldn't go live.
Yeah.
So when you have that one as a memory.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Becca, when are you going to take your clothes off? We've been wondering.
Oh, you wouldn't want to see that. Nobody could pay me enough money to do that.
So, any other memories?
What about when you were going on your trip around the country? Was it Hermit on tour?
Yeah.
Thing like that. And I know we didn't actually see it, but you did mention it in a live, I think, that you did from your hotel room or something, when you couldn't find your car in Wiltshire.
In Devisers.
Yes. And because you knew that the time was running out on the ticket, and you just walked up to a couple of prostitutes and asked them if they knew where the nearest car park was or whatever, and they thought that you were approaching them for another reason, didn't they?
Do you know what? And these two sex workers were really, really helpful. One in particular, because I was really panicking. So I kind of, and actually, the Hermit on Tour of 2018 is one of that I've written down as one of my favourites, because I loved that. It was such a transitional time for me, as in, I'd taken voluntary redundancy, I'd got a payout. I wasn't planning on starting a new job until the new year. I thought I'm just going to take some time out. Hired a car, because I didn't own a car then. And like I said, I've not driven for 12 years. Went up to Scotland, went all over. And then I needed a base between Bath and Glastonbury. And it was Dan Travis who said, there's a little market town called Devisers, and it's really quite sweet. And I got this fab B&B, which were in the castle grounds. And it was a nice little town to explore, but I couldn't go to the B&B till 4 p.m. So I parked up, and I do this all the time, but even more so then, because I'm not used to driving. I parked up, walked into town, didn't even think about where I'd parked or how to get back to it. Had some lunch, did some shopping, explored, and then I knew the time was running out, and I thought, I only got about 20 minutes left. And then I just stood there on the high street, and I just thought, I ain't got a clue where my car is. I've no idea. And earlier in the day, I'd gone past this shop, and there was two ladies there, who one of them, as I went past, said, "Hello, darling." And I thought, there they are. They might be able to help me. Very friendly as they were. And I just said, "Excuse me." And I just thought that they thought I was approaching them. And I said, "I can't find my car. I don't know this town. I'm just here as a guest." And one of them couldn't have been nicer. They was like, "Right, can you remember what direction you walked in? Do you remember any landmarks that you saw?" And I said, "Well, there was this church. What direction was the church in?" And then they just said, "Come with me," and took me right to my car. And it was, it was lovely. So I gave her a tip. But no, I did. Because it was
Steady.
You lot.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the first thing you said, one of the things was like, do you know where the nearest car park is? I mean,
God,
you got off to a good start there,
Yeah. And it was, I did get asked, is there anything else I can do for you? Which, but barking up the wrong tree there. But anyway, you got to ask, you've got to make a living. Dirty-minded bear. Yeah, we saw your reaction then. Yeah, but Hermit on Tour, like I said, over the Devisers was one story, but what I really loved about that was just, I loved the freedom. I'd left a job that I'd been in for 15 years. It had become, where it was weighing heavy. Sometimes you get into that state where you're like, I don't know how many more years I can do this for. And there was just this enormous sense of relief when I made the decision to take redundancy, and then deciding that, yes, I could be sensible and bank the money, but actually there's loads of places in the UK that I've never seen. And I am somebody that when I work, I do work long hours, I give 110% to my job. And the downside to that can be that you always put things off that you're going to do, you know. I've never been to Glastonbury, and I'd heard all about how amazing it was. So it was lovely just to get in a car and just take to the road, you know, and just stop at bed and breakfast and go to places and think, I'll have a few days here, I'll have a few days there. And of course, I got to meet a few of you in the room as well. I made sure that those visits were incorporated. And then I vlogged it all, and it's on my playlist, Hermit on Tour. It's in 3 parts because there was a lot of footage for that. But yeah, it was. I still get comments left on those videos now, saying thank you for taking us along and, you know, sharing those sites and things. But yeah, it was that was my foray into vlogging, because I've never done vlogging before Hermit on Tour. And
but
now
they're actually some of my favourites. Those are because of the different places that you went and seeing all the different places and going right up to Scotland and all of that. I loved seeing all of those. They're really good. Yeah,
and it's lovely because it's 6 years ago later this year, but whenever I watch them, and every so often I don't watch all 3 back to back because it's like 3 hours. Well, I'll often just drop in and watch a bit and think, oh yeah, you know, and it's like having, like, I suppose it's like back in the day when we used to go on holiday and you take snaps and you make a photo album, don't you, of your holiday to Mallorca or whatever. But it's like having a little reminder, a little souvenir of those times as well. Yeah. Any other stories?
I can remember one that stood out for me, and I always, when people say that crystals don't have any energy within themselves, I kind of always was skeptical about that. But I can remember when you were on a live stream and there was this buzzing sound that you kept hearing. You couldn't work out where the buzzing sound was coming from until you located it, and it was that big crystal.
This one.
And it was vibrating and making a noise, like as kind of audible as if you've got a phone on vibrate on a surface. It was the weirdest thing.
And the weird thing was, because sometimes things don't get picked up on mic either. So I've done lives before, and I'll say something like, "Oh, can you hear that wind outside or that rain against the window?" And people are like, "No." And, you know, or a few times there's been protests and things, and people have said in the live, "Oh, we can't hear anything." But everybody heard this, and like, yeah, we heard it. And it was weird because it used to just be at the side of me, and it was like, and nothing else was moving, because you could say, well, I suppose it's a bit like you might have had a little earth tremor, because this building does move. You know, when we have real gale force winds and I'm laying in bed, you can hear the toilet water slopping about, because the building, if you look at it, it's long on top, and it's only 2 apartments wide. So it's built in such a way that it will, you know, kind of slightly move with the wind. But nothing else was moving around it, and it was just this buzzing noise, and it doesn't have a plug or anything. It's not. But yeah, so, and I can remember Kelly, the first time we met, we had in that Costa coffee shop, we had a chat about crystals, didn't we? Because you were like, just explain these crystals to me. I think you like them for the aesthetics, don't you, rather than any sort of
yeah, I think that my perspective has shifted so much since then. It's really funny, like when I think back, because I take a much more animistic perspective of the world now, and why I still I wouldn't say back then I would have said I said I was cynical. Now I would say I'm skeptical about things, but I'm much more, my viewpoint is much more animistic, and so I can see the spirit in things, but I wouldn't necessarily always ascribe to this crystal does this thing. It's much more of a case by case basis, a bit like working with local land spirits, you know what I mean, rather than, well, amethyst always does this. It'd be like, well, what does this amethyst do? And it might do that, but it might do something else specific to that one. I don't know. But I'm not really a crystal. They look pretty, but also there's the whole like ethical situation around crystals, which I've been aware of for about 20 years or so, which has meant that haven't bought crystals for a very long time. I've been gifted them, but I haven't bought them for over 2 decades. So I also take that perspective.
Yeah, and that's why I always used to buy from Lysian, because they had I don't know if you'd call it a charter or a pledge, but they used to have this sign on, and they always made sure that their crystals were ethically sourced, and they used to go over to France, and so they were. I really trusted them, but I can remember explaining, I'm like, well, you know, chrysalis radios have quartz in them, you know, to fine tune, and quartz watches, you know, have little bits of quartz to regulate time, and but
batteries, lithium batteries.
Yeah, I collect rocks. I'm the same about crystals, Kelly says, trio of witches. I was going to say something then, something else that popped in my head and it's gone again. I think it was to do with the crystal, but yeah, I've forgotten about that until you just mentioned it, about the vibrating crystal. But this one's always been around here. Are you doing it again?
No. I was looking at Elle as well. I saw Elle go as well, and that was what sent me. Because we're probably thinking the same. Oh,
do you know? I think that's why I'm drawn to you lot, because you all go there occasionally. Chris usually sees phallic symbols in tarot cards and then once he's told me about it, I'm like, no, I'm not going to be able to see that.
That's just reminded me of a live chat you did where you showed the new Celtic tarot, and it had all those like phallic carved thrones, and people were like losing it in chat. I think Becca was there as well. About that tarot deck.
I think it was down here. Christoph James? No, what's his name?
Is it Christoph Hughes?
Yeah,
the guy that's also
James.
The drag queen, and also used to be a mortician or as well. Yeah, because I didn't. Christoph was because he did a great interview with the All Killer No Filler podcast, and I was like, oh, this is because they were talking about him working in the death industry, and his experience of that, and being a drag queen, and then also being a druid, and it was like a really like weird intersection of my like love of podcasts and true crime and tarot and drag, and I was like, I recommend it. Good episode.
He brought out a fantastic book about 18 months ago called The Last Leaf, which talks about his journey onto a spiritual path through becoming a mortician, and Giselle from Madwitch recommended it to me, and it's a brilliant read.
That was it. Really he was talking about it because that book was about to come out, and it was at the beginning of last year, I think, that he did, or the year before when he did that interview. I'm remembering now. Sorry. Yeah. I've not read it yet.
Robin says, what about the orbs in the Georgian Pilgrim? Yeah, so that was an experience, and I was with Sandra and Elle during that. Although Elle, you didn't stay in the Georgian Pilgrim that night, did you?
No, after I heard about the fat monk.
You'll have to tell that story in a minute, but yeah, it was in the morning, and I really liked the feel of that room. It was the confessional, and there was like a confessional booth in the room that I would try to get down in and sleep in. And I woke up in the morning, and it just had a really nice feel to the place, as opposed to Sandra's room. It was just across the way, which was really creepy. But it's the first time ever I was just filming and talking about the room, and it's the first time ever I've seen an orb with the naked eye, and I was like, oh my gosh, what was that? And then I just left the camera rolling for about 20 minutes, edited down to all the bits, but they were just flying left, right, and centre, all like this, and I was like, this is incredible. But never once did that place, even though it's been on TV programs and all that sort of stuff, never once did I feel uncomfortable there. It for me, it might have just been that room. It just had a really nice energy to it.
My room didn't.
But you do you remember what I said when you asked?
Yes, I was just about to say, and I said to Simon, oh, because he said, yeah, your room is like dark and creepy. I said, oh God. And then there was the whole thing about the fat monk, and I said, if I get scared in the middle of the night, can I come and knock on your door? And he went, frig off. It's like we were supposed to be friends.
Sounds about right.
Wow. I was like, what can I do in the middle of the night?
You wouldn't even wake up. I remember when we were all round at Becca's and we were jabbing you with the blow-up mattress, and nothing.
Yeah, I mean, you'd only been in bed for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And he
That's
was
it.
like,
Well, once my head hits the pillow, I have no trouble going to sleep. I'm like that, and that's it.
Oh my God.
You won't wake me.
gone, because we switched the light on because we thought you were still asleep. Even that didn't wake you. And then lifting a double blow up air bed over, scraping it across you to get it out, like.
But it's also, I find driving really tiring, and if I've had a day at work where I've had to go like up to Rotherham or somewhere like that, and I'm driving around all day, it physically drains me. And even though you're not a million miles away, Becca, you're only, I think, 2.5 hours, 3 if it's really, really bad traffic. But
long drive though.
That first night, yeah, it feels like a long drive because it's all motorways till the very last bit. I think the last 20 minutes of the journey to your house, it's all motorways. So it just feels like a long drive, and that tires me out. So yeah, no chance of waking me up. That was a good one, Robin. What's a good one from Robin? And what about the after dark in the ghost yard? Oh, that's the what's that place? Not Montreal. What's that place near you?
Near who?
With the thatch.
Becca,
Near you.
Oh, you didn't like Minster. Minster Level Hall.
Yeah.
Minster Level Hall, that's it.
You got that bat imprint on your back.
Well, I got twice. Bats flew into me. They just died, and these were just laughing their heads off, and I'm like, "What was that?" Because I felt like somebody had thrown a stone at me.
You couldn't see what we could see. There was like this.
No.
The little face of a bat and a
little bat, literally like an outline of a bat.
Yeah, but twice. I'm like, once to be hit by a bat, and I was like, "What was that?" I all fell about laughing, and you was like, "It's a bat, Simon." I'm like, "I've just been hit by a bat." He was like, "Yeah." Then another one came and dive bombed into me and left an imprint.
Oh my
But do you remember? I think what Robin's referring to, the first time we ever went to Minster Lovell Hall, it was just you and I, wasn't it, Becca? And I think it was on the first time I came, and on the way back, it was absolutely pitch black. We couldn't even see like a hand in front of us, and we're like, we'd walked through this graveyard, and then was walking down this dark lane, and I was like trying to scare Becca by putting my hand on her shoulder and all that sort of stuff. And then we did this kind of like this seance in this graveyard, and then I just said, fancy some fish and chips? You're like, yeah, let's go and get some fish and chips.
Go straight from the, swing of the pendulum, like, oh, okay, well, fancy fish and chips then. Yes.
Lisa said, what about Sandra and Simon? What about Simon and Becca in the prison? Am I remembering that correctly? Yeah, we did get to prison.
Yeah, we did.
We had our mugshot taken.
Yeah.
I
think we were accused.
Jail, wasn't it?
We were accused of stealing a cow.
Okay. Any other stories to share?
I particularly remember 2020's Tarathon. So it was the first Tarathon that I watched. I remember like getting all my snacks in for it and getting myself all sorted. Stayed up for the whole lot.
Wow.
I'm sure that was the Tarathon that Elle started their channel, unless I've got mixed up with that.
Yeah,
I think it was. Yeah, that was brilliant. I thoroughly enjoyed that. And just Tarathons in general, I feel as though it's like, you know how when there's like a really, really good film coming out and like, you and all your friends are like really looking forward to it and you all kind of agree to go and see it together. Like, that was what Tarathon felt like. It was like that kind of a thing, but for us tarot nerds.
Yeah, and that's weird because that's my first favourite. So there's been a couple that you guys have mentioned, but when I think back to my favourites of the Tarathons, it was the 2021, and it was, I opened it up and did a talk about Pamela Coleman-Smith, and I remember I got very emotional towards the end of it. But I really loved, because I'm somebody who struggles because of the way my brain is. I struggle to revise. So, if I've got to do a test or an exam, school was a nightmare because I can't retain information. And I remember really enjoying the revision into the life of Pamela Coleman-Smith. And I just had these little prompt cards, and I felt like I'd speak at 100 miles an hour to get everything in about her life into that 1 hour live stream. But what I remember, Chris, you put a comment in saying something like, wow, it's going to be a long 24 hours. I bought all these snacks in and they've gone already. And it was like the first hour.
Me. Yeah, that sounds about right.
And I was like, I think you need to go and get some more, because it was like, it's not even the first hour yet of 24 hours and all my snacks have gone.
Yeah, that's you're right about Pixie, by the way. Like, it's hard not to get emotional when you look at when you look back at that stuff. I recently did a thing where I compared her cards to just the general Golden Dawn stuff, and when I was looking at some of the changes she'd made, I could actually feel myself getting a wee bit emotional, like, because you're getting you feel like you're getting an insight as to how she felt. Do you know what I mean? Like what she was going through and how she felt, and it is like, it is a sin, and like you almost feel like there's nothing we can do about it now because she's no longer with us. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, it's flipped. There's like two sides, because yes, she had an incredible life, particularly more so her earlier years. She was such a pioneer. She did so many different things, and then she for like 100 years just totally erased. you know, and everybody talked about the rider weight deck, you know, and it wasn't until Stuart Kaplan and US Games just put her, you know, right front and center for us all to see that actually, you know, and now we always refer to the RWS, don't we? But it was the fact that the last years of her life, what really got to me was that she died penniless and actually died in debt, and any monies that was left was swallowed up by the debt. She's in an unnamed, unmarked grave. We don't really know where it is for sure. And the fact that she never lived to see the credit, her getting the credit that she so rightly deserved. And that's what I found really hard. And as I was talking about that, I was like, you know, we all talk about her now, but she never got that accolade that she so rightly deserved, as didn't many women back in the day who, you know, had an important role in history. So I saw a couple of others pop up, and I think there was in caps. I'm probably going to oh yeah, Sandra and Hermit. I love Sandra and Dan's first meet up in the B&B and all of you getting silly on Mead. That's kind of become a tradition now, though, hasn't it, Sandra? Whenever we get together, there's
not just me, though. You as well.
Yeah. But even when you came up last time, we went to Bolsover Castle and there was a gift shop in there. They got mead, but we didn't buy any. It was like, it's not the same drinking mead in Nottingham, really. But
no.
What's this one? Simon, I remember when you went to the seaside and every place you showed said fish and chips. Fish and chips, yeah. That was because I went down Chip Alley. There it's actually called, I don't think it's not called Chip Alley, but everybody who knows Skegness refers to it as Chip Alley because of all the fish and chip shops along there. Any other capitals? Okay. What's this? Simon and Sandra's unending uphill mud track. Oh, that was very recent, wasn't it?
Oh God.
Yeah. And then I think my favourite memory was every week freezing the video and zooming in to see the newest decks on your shelf. Yeah. Okay, so I've got a couple of where are we for time? 10 past. I've got a couple of favourites. So I've mentioned the Quarren stream. I think this is where you all get your pets. Just before we went live, I'm like, you've all got pets except for me, and I was all getting their pets out.
Not a euphemism. The way it's they're all getting their pets out. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Did you see? I don't know if you saw. I put on Facebook the other day. We had a networking event, and the comments. I mean, talking of pets and getting your pets out. I'll show it here. Where are we? See if I can make it a little bit so it shows up. The comments I got on that.
Yeah.
As you can imagine what those comments would be, I'm like...
You did have a very firm grip on it. When I saw that picture, I thought, God, I wonder if that chicken's all right now. Because it's like, you're like... It's like you virtually choked it.
You have to hold their wings close into the body, and it looks like it, but they're really fluffy. That was what was really nice about that, is the fact that they're really tactile, and our learners get to hold them and stroke them because they're just really plush and not how you imagine chickens to be.
Goodness.
What are you all laughing at? You're terrible.
You just snorted. Kelly, was that you?
Maybe.
Where's the one? Yeah, look at this one that this lady's holding. Just look at how fluffy this one is.
Oh,
Look.
oh, look at the chicken.
Terrible. You are terrible. My favourite sentence, I don't date corpses. 77 questions video. I don't date corpses. Why would I have said that? I've heard that recently. Did you leave a comment on a video in the week about me not dating corpses? Simon chokes the chicken. Terrible. Anyway, favorite, lifting the lid on Pandora's box. That was the first time I think I really, truly. What are we laughing at now? I'm trying to be all serious here.
Oh God, I'm so sorry.
What have I missed?
Just how you went straight into that, lifting the lid on Pandora's box.
Without a shred of irony. Without.
Totally clueless.
My mind doesn't automatically go to where you lots go to. Chris, you're blushing.
Oh, good God.
That's the
Anyway,
wine, Tammy Pie.
Oh.
so I'll try and be serious, but the video that I did was in 2017. I hadn't had a channel for long, I think probably about 6 months. I love the tarot. I've been first picked up the tarot, God, 37 years ago now. Reconnected with it, RWS, in a big way in 2008, and would do readings for other people, do readings for myself. But I've never delved into things like shadow work and inner child work. I'd not even heard of them till I found the YouTube community. And I did this video because everything that there was like a 2-week period where I'd gone to 2 concerts. I've been to see Pet Shop Boys and Erasure. And then my friends that I've had for 30 odd years from the American Adventure Theme Park days, we'd gone down to the American Adventure Theme Park because they'd bulldozed it and was going to convert it into a housing estate. And I went with them, and it was really bittersweet because there was lots of happy memories, and there were still the imprints on the ground of where like Silver City Cowboy Town was, where the spaceport was, where New England Mall was, all these kind of places. And there was this area at the top where they used to have Pioneer Playland called Mount Rushmore. And I stood there and I looked over this kind of like now barren wasteland, but I could see everything, like where everything was. I could see the Mississippi steamboat going across the lake. I could hear the old sounds of Lazy Lil singing, you know, the Deadwood stage and all that. And it was like I was transported back to being 16 years of age. It was the most eerie moment. And because I'd been to see these 2 groups that were a huge part of my teenage years, you know, music and queer music in particular, it was like I knew I needed to, and I was always fearful of going back to certain parts in my younger years because I'd pushed lids on things and kept it. And then I did this work that I was totally unprepared for, which was inner child work. For me, inner child work and shadow work, although they're different, to me, they're synonymous with each other because for me, they're very much linked. And I did this video because I'd been, you know, on YouTube about 6 months and I was talking away and I just burst into tears. And I had to stop the video and then come back on. And it's got that many stop and starts in it. And I just remember thinking then, that the tarot is more than just, you know, laying the cards out. And not that I treated it in a trivial way. I didn't. But I don't think I ever realized until that point that actually this is a really deep spiritual tool that can really have an impact, you know, and can help you. So yes. And then Elle comes in with Kiki Kiki Pin Pin. Do you want to share Kiki 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 Kiki? I can't even say it. Do you want to share Kiki Kiki Pin Pin?
I don't know, Spike. I think you should be the one to tell this tale.
I can't remember it, unfortunately.
Oh, God, you? I just remember on a live, I don't know what we were talking about, but you had a childhood dream that you, as Spike, were going to start this band. Was it Kiki Kiki Pim Pim? But then the band was going to have a drastic breakup. You're going to go fly solo.
And this was in the 80s, and it was like before the whole Take That with Robbie leaving and Jerry leaving the Spice Girls and all this. Yeah, so I was forming my band at school. I was saying, look, I'm going to put this band together. It's going to be called Kiki Kiki Pin Pin. And I used to have like really long, kind of like shoulder length hair, a bit like Andrew Ridgeley's from Wham, if you think of 80s Andrew Ridgeley. And it was like the lankest, straightest hair, but no, it was going to be all spiky and yeah. And then I was like forming this band with everybody, saying, "Oh, you," because you know you do music class and drama and all that. But my plan was to use them as a vehicle to then ditch the band and become a solo performer. But yeah, trouble is I can't sing. I can't sing a note. So that dream was short lived. Same, Simon. The two are always linked for me. Oh, that's what you're referring to, shadow work and inner child work. Yeah, another favourite is Quarren Streams. That was a very troubling time for everybody. You know, we was in uncharted territory, weren't we? And it was very isolating. I live on my own and went from, you know, going to work every day, seeing family, seeing friends, to being shut in and allowed out for 30 minutes a week to do shopping or whatever it was. And I just thought, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. And so it was for selfish reasons, really, as well. But I decided to go live every day. And there is 91, because there's a playlist, 91 Quarren Streams. So 91 days of going live just for an hour a day, 5 p.m. when I officially finished work and I could log off. And it was just to connect with people, because I thought there's going to be other people out there like me that lives completely alone and is completely isolated. And Chris, that's kind of where you stepped in as well, because around the tail end of Quarren Streams was when my mum started to get really ill. And there was like mad hospital dashes and things like that. And I didn't want to let people down because they became quite dependent on the Quarren Streams, because it was their connection to a kind of a network of support. And Chris was, as I said, when I introduced him, he was like a tag partner, and he said, I can help, you know, and if ever you can't go live, I'll go live, and I'll always be grateful for that. But yeah, Quarren Streams are something that I'm really quite proud of, because people appreciated it, you know, and I got a lot of messages. And even though it started off perhaps from a selfish point of view, as I need to connect with people, what it turned out to be was everybody, you know, knowing that they could come together at a certain point and chat and interact and not feel so alone. It was the best of times. Yeah, the worst of times and the best of times. Your lives during COVID helped me a lot. Thank you. those foreign streams made a huge difference for many of us. Yeah, and that's you know, it's fun to do YouTube, but it's also it's really connecting, isn't it? You know, look at us now sitting here chatting and reminiscing and having a laugh, but also people that are here, all 110 of them, also getting something out of it. And then the last one to mention really is just that, you know, the people that have made you guys and others that have been in the chat that I've met. I might have only met them once, you know, or not met them physically, but you know, we can connect. You guys are friends and family, and that's for me. If anybody, if YouTube shut down tomorrow and somebody said, okay, so what did you enjoy most about those 7 years? Whilst we've got all these kind of, you know, these lives and this video, for me, it's the people that I've met, because you're my kind of people. We're all of us from different walks of life, but we've got that kindred spirit kind of connection. And you know, that's the be and end all for me. You know, that's the cherry on top of the cake, is the fact that, you know, I've made lifelong friends. So community is everything. I agree, Patrice. It is. Yeah. We've got about 5 minutes left. Any last kind of words? Anybody got anything that they haven't been able to say? I know it's difficult when there's 6 people on a live, isn't it? 'Cause it's like, when do I speak, or don't want to talk over each other. But
it just struck me that so much, and you know, in that time has been packed into your channel, and I know that, yeah, I'm not the only one that would like to say thank you for giving us a little bit of you for all those years, and being, and you know, an inspiration to a lot of us that started channels. And yeah, so you just sprinkle a little bit of magic into Tarot Tube.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah. Well, I just see us all, as well as like all the channels that are out there. We're all cogs, aren't we, in a bigger wheel? We all slot in. It's lovely now that there's lots of interactions, because when I first joined YouTube, I think there's only Kelly Fitz that was going live on a regular basis, and then we started seeing all these kind of Google Hangouts, and you know, there's so many collaborations now, and it's connected a lot of people, and people are more connected and interacting with each other. What I did want to say was, because somebody sent a message, I think it was yesterday, because this has been up for a couple of days, saying that the Channelversary was coming up. I ought to find the message really, but it was like, what was your reason for starting a channel? And I thought about that, and I thought, yeah, what was my reason? And I think it was because I at the time when I started my channel, and Kelly, you'll know because you was around longer than me, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I was the only male that was British on Tarot Tube. There wasn't many men at all. The only ones I can remember was somebody called Andrew Barker and Patrick in the 78 cards. And there wasn't many British people. I remember, and I've said to you before, when I saw your channel, I remember thinking, you know, we've got, because there's lots of American channels and there's a couple of Australian ones, and I remember finding your channel and thinking, a British person that's talking tarot. And then I think when I first started, that was, people were like, because the channel grew very quickly, very early on, but the comments I was getting from people was like, it's great to hear a male perspective, or, oh, I'm a fellow Brit, you know, whereabouts are you in the UK and all that sort of stuff. And it's wonderful now to see, like, even, you know, our Chris and others, like, you know, Richie and Brian Cormac Carr and all the others that came afterwards. There's more of a, there's more representation and there's more balance, I think. But I think that was why I decided to do a channel, because I thought, well, maybe I can add something a bit different, with a different perspective, a different, you know, contribution. So Kate said, yes, that's why I started listening to you, because you were male and from the UK. So yeah. Okay, anything else? Well, thank you for being here, everyone. I've really enjoyed hanging out. I do need to do a card pull because it's the theme now for the week ahead. So I'll just quickly pull a card. I'm going to use the oh my gosh, it's gone out of my head. Ehrenberg Tarot, which I'm absolutely obsessed with at the moment. And then this will be the card for the week in the Hermit's Cave for people to add their thoughts. And remember, if you are taking part in this, do share your views of the card as well. What we did for 3 years, because we did it twice, was just to share our favourite cards. But this is kind of like, you know, your favourite card, but also what, you know, if it was the strength card, whatever the strength card means to you, etc. Oh, thank you, Jonathan. That's a nice comment. Reminder of the giveaway. Yeah, I'm going to just mention that at the end, Robin. Oh, we have the 10 of Wands, which is cool. So, 10 of Wands, and this was, well, I was going to say I talked about this the other day, but I talked about every card because I did a really long walkthrough of this. But if you feel like you've taken on too much, or you're trying to please everybody, or, you know, you're the sort of person that says yes to everything and you feel overwhelmed and overloaded, then the 10 of Wands to me always kind of, when it comes up in a reading, gives me the indication that it's the final push. It's that last bit to get you to where you need to be. Remember also that it's a warning that we're accountable for ourselves. And if we do feel like we're taking on too much, it is okay to say no, you know, and it doesn't have to be a permanent no. It can be a no right now. I've got too much to do. I need to focus on what I, you know, what it is that I need to achieve. And what I love about this image in particular, pushing against this rock, and this is what I mentioned when I did the walkthrough, is sometimes it might feel unsurmountable where you're pushing against something and you're not getting anywhere, because imagine trying to move a huge boulder. But what's actually happening is the physical changes in yourself, because as you're pushing against rocks, as you're trying to shift something, you might never move the rock, but you're gaining things like strength, and that sort of solution and determination, even if you might not see the result instantly. So for me, it's the final push. If there is something that you've committed to and you've been working hard to achieve, then, you know, just give it that last. And then after you've done that, think about what else, you know, you can reasonably take on. Don't overwhelm, and don't try and people please. Okay. Thanks, anyone. Does anybody want to say anything before you go? Anybody got anything coming up on their channels that they want to tell people about, or
I just want to say thank you for having us on, and happy 7 years. I can't believe it's been 7 years. It's gone really quickly. And here's to the next 7.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. And yeah, so as Robin reminded me, so if you have joined in the last hour, if you want to share in the comments, not the comments here, but the comments after the video's gone up, of a favourite memory of the last 7 years linked to the channel, then I will enter your name to win an unopened copy of the Fifth Spirit Tarot and this beautiful bag, which is from Pendle Hill, where the witch trials took place. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, I'll ship it to where whoever the winner is, and that will be drawn in next Saturday's Puppet Catch Up and Cards. So if you guys just want to stay on quickly at the end just so I can say goodbye properly, and yeah, thank you everybody for being here. Thank you for your contributions, really enjoyed it. Thank you to the mods for keeping everything as it should be, and I will see you in the week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.